The mind is the root, everything begins within. Your life isn't defined by fate, circumstances, or other people. It's shaped, moment by moment, by what you think, feel, and choose to believe. Your mind is like a river. If you allow fear, worry, and doubt to constantly flow through it, that river will become muddy and turbulent. But if you learn to feed it peace, compassion, and wisdom, your experience of life will soften. It will begin to feel like a calm stream reflecting the light of the sky. So many people go through life without truly living. They react to everything around them. A harsh word sparks anger, a difficult moment brings anxiety, a past mistake triggers self-blame. They let the outer world control their inner state. And then they wonder, why do I feel so overwhelmed? Why does life feel like it's against me? Why can't I ever feel truly happy? But the truth is, without realizing it, they've been feeding their minds with thoughts that bring suffering. Think of your mind like a garden. Every thought is a seed. If you keep planting seeds of judgment, envy, regret, or anger, what grows will be weeds of stress and unhappiness. But if you consciously plant seeds of gratitude, patience, compassion, and clarity, your inner garden will slowly bloom with peace and strength. In Buddhism, this understanding is ancient and foundational. The Buddha once said, "The mind is the forerunner of all things. It is the master. It creates everything. If you speak or act with an impure mind, suffering will follow, as surely as the cart follows the ox that pulls it. But if you speak or act with a pure mind, happiness will follow you like a shadow that never leaves." That means your life doesn't start outside, it starts inside. If you change how you look at life, life begins to change. If you learn to master your thoughts, you hold the key to real freedom, not financial freedom or freedom to travel, but inner freedom. The freedom to not be tossed around by your emotions. The freedom to respond with intention instead of reaction. The freedom to be calm, grounded, and whole, even when life is not. You might have heard of the law of attraction, that what you think, you attract. But even long before that idea, Buddhism had already taught that the mind creates karma, and the quality of your thoughts shapes your entire experience. It's not the universe rewarding or punishing you. It's you, planting seeds and harvesting their fruit. But cultivating a healthy mind doesn't happen overnight. Just like you can't go to the gym once and expect to be fit, training the mind takes time, effort, and daily commitment. Every single thought, every small decision, is a part of this training. Every time you choose to forgive instead of holding a grudge, to let go instead of clinging, to love instead of judging, you are shaping a stronger, kinder, freer version of yourself. And you don't have to be perfect to begin. You only need to be human, breathing, feeling, and willing to return to yourself. If you've ever felt like your mind is too busy or chaotic to control, your emotions shift easily depending on others, you're constantly anxious or unsure of your direction, or you're stuck in cycles of guilt, anger, or fear, then maybe it's time to come back to your inner foundation. You don't need to change your job, move to a new city, or wait for the perfect day to arrive. You simply need to choose again. Choose your thoughts. Choose your focus. Choose peace. And on this journey, you're not alone. For thousands of years, Buddhism has offered clear, practical teachings to help us train the mind. These are not abstract or mystical ideas, they start with how we breathe, how we observe, how we think, and how we respond to each moment. In this video, or series, we'll explore 7 essential principles, 7 roots that will help you shift the way you see the world, the way you live each day, and most importantly, the way you relate to your own mind. These aren't rigid rules or things you have to follow perfectly. Think of them as invitations. An invitation to slow down and return to yourself. An invitation to look deeper at what really matters. An invitation to come home, to the truth that peace and freedom don't exist out there. They begin within. Part 1. Every thought is a seed. The human mind is like fertile soil. It doesn't distinguish between good or bad, joy or suffering, it simply receives what is planted in it. And just like nature, whatever you sow, that's what you will grow. You cannot plant the seed of resentment and expect to harvest peace. You cannot nurture anger and hope for a calm and gentle heart. Every thought, no matter how fleeting, leaves an imprint in the mind. A single positive thought can open a new path, leading you to act with compassion. But a single negative thought, if left unchecked, can seep in slowly, take root, and grow into a habit, a belief, and eventually shape your entire destiny. As the Buddha said, the mind is the forerunner of all things. It is the chief, it creates everything. This means that everything you experience, joy or sorrow, freedom or bondage, begins in the mind. And the mind is shaped, moment, by the thoughts you choose to entertain. Thoughts are seeds. Imagine that each morning, as you wake up, you walk into the garden of your own mind. In front of you lies a basket full of seeds, seeds of patience, compassion, forgiveness, but also seeds of anger, jealousy, fear, and doubt. Every time you have a thought, you're choosing which seed to plant. When you think, I am grateful for what I already have, you plant the seed of peace. I believe I can overcome this, you plant the seed of resilience. I wish them happiness, even if they don't understand me, you plant the seed of loving kindness. But when you think, I'm not good enough, everyone always disappoints me, I'll never forgive myself, you are also planting seeds, but of pain, self-blame, and despair. The crucial point is this. The seed you water most often is the one that grows. Negative seeds grow easily. What makes it even more challenging is that negative seeds often grow faster, especially when we are not aware. They don't need deliberate planting. Just by letting your guard down, by scrolling through toxic news, engaging in unconscious conversations, or replaying painful memories, you are watering the weeds in your mental garden. The mind is like a field without fences. If you don't plant flowers, weeds will grow on their own. If you don't actively cultivate positive thoughts, old mental habits, shaped by your past, your pain, or the world around you, will silently take over. This is why mindfulness, as the Buddha taught, is not optional, it is essential. It is the act of guarding your mind, of seeing clearly which seeds are present, and choosing which ones deserve your attention. You can't control life, but you can choose your thoughts. You can't stop people from misunderstanding you. You can't avoid every difficulty, every loss, every heartbreak. But you can always choose how you think about those experiences. One criticism might make you angry, or it might help you listen and grow, it all depends on which thought you follow. One failure might make you bitter, or it might make you stronger, depending on which seed you water. Each time you choose a thought rooted in love instead of fear, you change not only your present moment but also the way you will experience life from that moment forward. Right thought, thinking that liberates. In the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path, the second element is right thought. This doesn't mean thinking positively in a superficial way. It means thinking with awareness, with compassion, and with non-harming intentions. Right thought includes thoughts of loving kindness, the wish to avoid harming yourself or others. Thoughts of letting go, releasing attachment, greed, and craving. Thoughts free from hatred, not fueling anger or hostility. Whenever you realize your mind is leaning toward thoughts that cause suffering, you can pause, breathe, and return to right thinking. In that moment, you are transforming not just your emotion, but your karma. You are shifting the course of your inner world. Practice daily, observe, choose. Transform. Begin by simply observing your thoughts, without judgment. Notice, oh, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm being harsh with myself, or I'm blaming others. Then gently ask yourself, is this thought helping me become more peaceful? If not, choose a kinder one. You don't have to fight the thought. Just shift your attention to something wiser. You can't stop thoughts from arising, but you can decide which thoughts you give a home to. Start the morning with a gentle affirmation. End the day with a moment of gratitude. Pause throughout the day to return to your breath, especially when your thoughts become loud or heavy. These small acts are how you begin to replant your inner garden. Conclusion. Thoughts shape destiny. Your external life is a mirror of your inner world. And your inner world is built on one simple foundation, the thoughts you allow to take root. So the next time you find yourself reacting harshly, judging yourself, or sinking into despair, take a breath and ask, what seed am I watering right now? Because that seed will grow. That thought will shape your words, your actions, and eventually, your life. Part 2, How the Environment Nourishes the Mind. We often think that what shapes our minds are major events, traumas, breakthroughs, or powerful teachings. But the truth is, the mind is influenced most deeply by the small, everyday things. What you see, hear, read, speak, and absorb daily becomes the silent nutrition for your inner world. The mind doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's constantly being shaped, not just by what you think, but by the environment you expose it to. Just as the body needs food to stay healthy, the mind needs nourishment to stay clear, peaceful, and strong. But there's one crucial difference: the body can signal when it consumes something toxic. The mind often cannot. We rarely realize when we've been feeding the mind with harmful inputs. The mind absorbs what you feed it, whether you realize it or not. Think about the times you've spent hours scrolling on social media. Nothing drastic may have happened, no one insulted you. Yet when you finally put your phone down, you feel anxious, restless, or vaguely dissatisfied. That's because your mind has just consumed hundreds of fragments, other people's lives, judgments, images, noise, and subtle comparisons. Now contrast that with a quiet morning, when you sit with a cup of tea, read a short passage of wisdom, or simply watch the light filtering through the window. Nothing dramatic occurs, yet you feel a kind of quiet joy. This is the difference between mental pollution and mental nourishment. The environment is not neutral, it shapes you silently. We like to believe we are in control of our minds. That we choose what to think, how to feel, and how to act. But the truth is, our environment has far more influence than we admit. A negative conversation can stay with you all day. A peaceful melody can calm your mood without you realizing why. One alarming headline can plant an invisible seed of fear that colors your entire worldview. Your mind doesn't just react to content, it absorbs the energy of everything it's exposed to. That's why the old saying still holds true. Lie down with dogs, get up with fleas. This isn't a moral warning, it's a psychological truth. The mind is a mirror. It reflects whatever stands in front of it long enough. What Buddhism teaches about guarding the mind. In Buddhist teachings, there is the principle of guarding the sense doors, a practice of becoming aware of what enters the mind through the six senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and thoughts. Every time you look at something, listen to a conversation, touch an object, or entertain a mental image, your mind is being shaped. To guard the senses doesn't mean to shut out the world. It means to choose consciously. Choose what you read. Choose what you listen to. Choose the people you engage with. Choose the energy you allow into your space. This isn't fear or avoidance, it's respect for your inner world. It's knowing that every input leaves a subtle imprint, one that may stay far longer than you expect. You become what you consume. We care a great deal about what we eat. We detox, eat clean, drink filtered water. But we often forget that the news we read before bed, the gossip we overhear in the morning, or the noise we scroll through daily, these are also forms of consumption. The mind can become toxic without us even realizing it. Mental toxins don't always make you collapse. They slowly drain your clarity, your calm, your joy. They whisper subtle fears. They plant seeds of comparison. They erode your sense of wholeness from the inside out. That's why silence, mindfulness, and meditation are so healing. Because they clean the slate. They give your mind a chance to rest, to reset. And to begin again with gentler, wiser nourishment. Choose a supportive, not overstimulating, environment. Each day, ask yourself, what am I allowing my mind to engage with today? You can choose to begin your morning with a calming meditation instead of your phone. To pause and take a conscious breath before checking messages. To step away from draining conversations, even if politely. To surround yourself with people who uplift you rather than exhaust you. To simplify your living space, making it more peaceful and grounded. These are not drastic changes. But they are profound choices. They are how you build an environment that supports your mental well-being. Silence is the soil where wisdom grows. In today's noisy world, silence is rare. But even just a few minutes of true quiet, no music, no media, no talking, can act like a balm for your nervous system. Turn everything off. Sit with yourself. No need to analyze or figure anything out. Just breathe. Just notice. That space of quiet is your neutral ground. It's where you can sense what is nourishing and what is depleting. You don't need to chase answers. You just need to be still enough to hear them when they arise. You are the sum of what you engage with. You are a reflection of everything you allow into your space, every word you hear. Every image you see, every story you absorb, every environment you inhabit. If you want a peaceful mind, you cannot feed it chaos. If you desire depth and understanding, you cannot nourish it only with distraction and noise. So start by guarding the gateways to your mind. Not out of fear, but out of love. Love yourself enough to be selective with what you consume. And little by little, day by day, you'll begin to feel the shift, not because you're forcing yourself to change, but because you've chosen a different environment in which to bloom. Part 3. Pause before you react. Most of us move through life on autopilot, reacting to people, situations, and emotions without truly seeing them. A sharp word from someone triggers anger. A message left unread stirs insecurity. A slight misunderstanding makes us feel wounded. These reactions seem automatic, beyond our control. But the truth is, there is always a space between stimulus and response. And within that space lies our greatest power, the power to choose. Living in reaction mode. In psychology, this is called habitual response. In Buddhist wisdom, it's part of ignorance, misunderstanding the true nature of our mind. We react not only to what's happening now but to old wounds, fears, and conditioning that still live within us. A raised voice may remind us of past rejection. Silence might echo abandonment. Criticism may reopen childhood wounds. In other words, we are not reacting to the moment, but to the unhealed parts of ourselves. Mindfulness creates freedom. The Buddha taught that freedom begins in awareness. When we become conscious of our thoughts and emotions, even for a brief moment, we step outside the grip of our conditioning. You don't have to suppress your emotions. But you can pause, breathe, and recognize what's arising before it takes over. A single breath taken with awareness can shift your entire trajectory, from anger to calm, from fear to wisdom, from hurt to understanding. One conscious breath can change everything. Imagine this, someone criticizes you, and instead of snapping back, you pause. You feel the sting in your chest, but you don't speak just yet. You breathe, just once. In that breath, you create space. And in that space, you choose your response. This isn't avoidance. It's mastery. You are no longer a puppet of emotion, you are its observer. Its guide. Observe emotion without becoming it. In mindfulness practice, emotions are seen as passing clouds in the sky of the mind. You are not your anger. You are the one who notices the anger. You are not your jealousy, your fear, your sadness. You are the space in which they rise, and the calm that remains when they pass. Each time you witness emotion without being swept away by it, you reclaim control over your inner life. You grow stronger, not by force, but by clarity. Rewiring the habit loop. Just like a muscle, this ability to pause can be trained. At first, it might feel unnatural. But with time, pausing becomes your new reflex. Think of your old reactions like a path worn deep in the forest. Your awareness begins to carve a new trail. And with each conscious breath, the old path fades while the new one becomes clearer. You are not fighting your past, you're simply choosing a different way forward. Reaction or response? Ask yourself this. Whenever a strong emotion arises, ask. Am I reacting from pain, or responding from awareness? A reaction is impulsive, driven by old stories. A response is intentional, rooted in presence. And the difference between the two is often just one breath. Everyday examples of conscious response. Your friend forgets to reply to your message. You feel dismissed. But you pause. You breathe. You remind yourself, maybe they're just busy. A loved one says something that hurts. You feel a surge of anger. But you pause. You breathe. You choose to ask, gently. What did you mean by that? Your coworker disagrees with you in public. You feel attacked. But you pause. You breathe. You remember your values, and respond with clarity instead of defensiveness. These are not grand spiritual moments. They are ordinary opportunities for awakening. You don't have to let every emotion in. A meditation teacher once said, "The mind is like a guest house. You can't control who knocks, but you choose who to invite in." When anger knocks, you can greet it with awareness, but you don't have to serve it tea. When fear arises, you can recognize it, but you don't have to let it speak for you. You can allow space, watch it come and go, and remain steady in yourself. That is not weakness. That is strength, true inner strength. In every moment, there is a door to freedom. Life will never be without challenges. People will disappoint you. Situations will provoke you. But no matter what arises around you, you have the power to choose your inner state. You are not your reaction. You are not your triggers. You are not the storm, you are the space around it. Each time you pause, breathe, and return to presence, you step into freedom. You dissolve an old pattern. You reclaim your peace. You become a little more of who you truly are. 4. Adversity as the substance that shapes the mind. When life becomes difficult, our first instinct is often to ask, why is this happening to me? We blame the situation, other people, fate, or even ourselves. But that question rarely leads to clarity. It only deepens the suffering. There is a far more powerful question you can ask instead. What is this teaching me? From a mindful perspective, no challenge is meaningless. Every difficult moment is a hidden invitation to see yourself more clearly, deepen your resilience, and evolve from within. The Buddha didn't teach us to escape suffering, he taught us to walk through it. The first noble truth is not a pessimistic declaration. It is a compassionate acknowledgement of reality. Suffering is part of being human. Loss, illness, heartbreak, failure, misunderstanding, fear, these are all part of the human condition. The Buddha didn't promise a life without pain. Instead, he taught that freedom comes not from avoiding suffering, but from learning how to meet it without being consumed by it. That difference lies in how we choose to respond. Adversity is a mirror reflecting the unhealed self. When life is easy, it's easy to believe you are grounded, wise, and loving. But when you're betrayed, misunderstood, Or faced with loss, that's when the truth of your inner landscape is revealed. Old wounds rise to the surface. Anger that you thought you'd let go of returns. Fear speaks loudly. The ego screams to be defended. And in that, adversity becomes a kind of sacred mirror, not to shame you, but to help you see yourself more honestly. It's not a punishment. It's an opportunity for awareness. Challenge is where strength and surrender are cultivated. Like gold refined in fire, the mind is forged through resistance. Moments of ease may bring comfort. But it is through struggle that the deepest transformation happens. When you go through a loss and still find the courage to keep your heart open. When you're misunderstood and choose compassion over defensiveness. When life feels heavy, yet you still offer kindness to others. That is true inner practice. And sometimes, growth doesn't look like strength. It looks like letting go. Letting go of the need to be right. Letting go of the urge to control. Letting go of the version of yourself who always needs to appear strong. In that letting go, you soften. And in softening, you become truly powerful. Unwelcome experiences hold seeds of wisdom. Some lessons can only be learned through heartache. It's only when your heart breaks that you truly understand unconditional love. It's only when you lose something that you realize its value. It's only when you fall apart that you discover what's truly unshakable inside you. You may look back one day and realize, the most painful moments were also the ones that helped me grow the most. You don't need to seek out suffering. But when it arrives, try not to resist it. Instead, meet it like an unexpected teacher, demanding, yes, but deeply sincere. You cannot avoid the storm, but you can learn to stand in it. Life moves in seasons, sunshine and storms, joy and sorrow. You may not be able to control the weather, but you can build a shelter within your own mind. When the mind is steady, the world doesn't shake you so easily. When the heart is deep, even chaos cannot drown you. The spiritual path is not about making life easier. It's about becoming resilient enough to face difficulty with softness intact. See hardship as an invitation to mature. Every challenge you face is a question from life itself. Can you rise above your anger? Can you choose understanding over blame? Can you let go instead of clinging? Spiritual growth does not only happen on meditation cushions or in peaceful retreats. It happens in the middle of real life, when you respond with awareness instead of instinct. To be able to sit with your discomfort, to breathe through the heat of emotion. And to stay open despite fear, this is inner mastery. Closing reflection, pain is not punishment, it's a pathway to awakening. Remember, life is not trying to break you. Hardships arise to show you your hidden strength, to awaken your deeper wisdom, and to lead you back to what truly matters. You are not here to avoid storms. You are here to become someone who can walk through them with clarity and grace. Seen through this lens, adversity becomes one of life's most profound teachings. It doesn't block your path, it is the path. Let it shape you, deepen you, and help you become not harder, but wiser. 5. Gratitude, the key to authentic joy. True joy doesn't come from having more. It comes from learning to fully appreciate what's already here. Gratitude isn't simply about saying, thank you. It's a way of seeing, a gentle shift in awareness that turns the ordinary into something sacred. It's not a reaction to life when things go well. It's a conscious practice that allows peace to bloom even when life doesn't go according to plan. In this moment, there is already enough. The sun rises without asking for permission. The breath flows without effort. Your heart continues to beat, a silent rhythm reminding you that you are alive. Gratitude invites us to come home to this moment, just as it is. Gratitude is a form of wisdom. In Buddhist practice, gratitude is more than a polite gesture. It is a reflection of insight, a sign that the heart has slowed down enough to see clearly. Only when you pause and become still do you realize how much there is to be thankful for. A simple meal on the table. A moment of silence in a noisy day. A kind word when you needed it most. These may seem small, but they are sacred in the eyes of awareness. The awakened mind doesn't overlook life's simple gifts. It bows to them with quiet reverence. Joy isn't waiting in the future, it's hidden in the now. The mind often chases joy like it's a destination. It whispers, "I'll be happy when I get there. I'll rest when everything is finished. I'll feel peace when life is finally how I want it to be." But life never fully arrives, it is always unfolding. If you don't find joy in the step you're taking now, you'll miss it at every milestone. Gratitude shifts your gaze. It turns your attention from what is lacking to what is present. Right now, you are breathing. You have lived through things you thought you'd never survive. You've grown in quiet ways no one even noticed. All of that is worth honoring. A simple practice. Pause and acknowledge. You don't need a perfect life to practice gratitude. You don't even need a perfect moment. Just a few minutes each day, morning, evening, or any time in between, can shift your entire energy. Ask yourself, what am I thankful for today? What quiet blessings have I been overlooking? Who has supported me in ways I haven't fully seen? It might be the way your pet greets you, the warmth of your tea, a message from a friend that arrived just in time. You're not changing your life. You're changing the way you see your life. And that changes everything. Gratitude diminishes craving and anxiety. The Buddha taught that craving, tanha, is the root of suffering. We are constantly reaching for more comfort, more validation, more certainty. But this endless grasping leaves us restless. Gratitude loosens the grip. It doesn't ask you to stop striving. It just reminds you to notice what is already here. To walk the path with awareness, not hunger. You begin to see. You don't need more to feel complete. You just need to recognize what's already enough. Even in pain, there's something to be thankful for. Gratitude isn't blind to sorrow. It simply refuses to let sorrow be the whole story. In loss, you can still feel the gift of love. In struggle, you can still witness your own strength. In uncertainty, you can still breathe deeply and remember, this moment is still life. True gratitude doesn't wait for everything to be perfect. It finds the light within the imperfection. Even when life feels heavy, there is always something to be thankful for. And that awareness is what makes the weight feel lighter. The healing power of gratitude. Modern research echoes what ancient wisdom has long known. People who regularly practice gratitude sleep better, stress less, and feel more content. But beyond science, there is something softer and deeper. Gratitude brings us back to the heart. When you live with a sense of enoughness, you stop competing, comparing, or clutching. You begin to open. You offer kindness freely. You forgive more easily. You walk with less fear and more trust. Gratitude is not weakness, it's strength born from awareness. Being grateful doesn't mean life is perfect, it means you're awake. The most grateful people are not the ones who have the most. They're the ones who see the most. They see beauty in the unfinished, meaning in the ordinary, and peace in the present moment. Gratitude is not a reaction, it's a way of being. It turns daily life into a sacred practice. Every breath becomes a blessing. Every moment, a chance to bow in appreciation. Gratitude, the foundation of lasting joy. Many joys are fleeting, but the joy born of gratitude is steady and deep. It's the kind of joy that doesn't disappear when life gets messy. It stays with you, because it lives within you. When you train your mind to be grateful, you don't just feel good. You become someone who radiates peace. You become a light for yourself, and for the world. 6. Visualize the best version of yourself. The mind is a mirror. It reflects what we repeatedly show it. If you constantly feed it with images of limitation, regret, and fear, your actions will mirror that. But if you gently offer it the image of a calm, wise, and compassionate self, again and again, your mind will gradually begin to believe it, and so will you. Visualization, in the Buddhist tradition and in modern psychology alike, is not fantasy. It is a practice. It's not about pretending. It's about remembering the strength, peace, and clarity already within you that has been buried under years of worry, judgment, and self-doubt. You don't need to change who you are to become your best self. You need to return to who you've always been, beneath the noise. What does it mean to visualize yourself clearly? It begins with a moment of stillness. Sit quietly, breathe deeply. Then, imagine yourself moving through life with grace. Picture yourself speaking with kindness. Listening with full presence. Standing firm in your values, but without aggression. Let the image be gentle, not grand. You're not imagining perfection. You're visualizing alignment, when your actions, words, and thoughts reflect the truest parts of you. See yourself walking into a difficult moment, not with fear, but with centeredness. See yourself responding with patience, offering compassion, and staying grounded. Feel the peace in your chest, the clarity in your eyes, the warmth in your tone. You are not faking it. You are remembering it. This person has always been within you, waiting to be recognized. Why visualization works. Modern neuroscience confirms what spiritual practice has known for centuries. When you vividly imagine yourself acting with a certain quality, like patience, compassion, or confidence, the same neural pathways in your brain light up as if you were actually doing it. That means you're not just daydreaming, you're rewiring. You're practicing being yourself in a new way. You're strengthening the internal muscle of becoming. This is how change begins, not in a dramatic leap, but in quiet repetition. When you repeatedly imagine yourself calm, compassionate, and strong, it becomes easier to embody those qualities in real life. They stop feeling foreign. They become familiar. And what the mind accepts as familiar, the heart begins to live out as truth. This isn't about becoming someone else. One of the biggest misconceptions is thinking that growth means becoming someone different, better, wiser, more spiritual. But in Buddhist practice, true transformation is not about addition. It's about subtraction. It's about peeling away what's not you, fear, conditioning, past labels, until what remains is simple and true. Visualization is a gentle remembering of that truth. You are not creating a new self. You are uncovering the self that has been quiet for too long. Make visualization a daily ritual. You don't need hours. 5 to 10 minutes in the morning or evening is enough. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes. Breathe naturally. Then, see yourself living from your highest self. Not some grand future version of you, but the one that already knows how to breathe through discomfort, listen without judging, forgive and keep going. Let the image arise from within. You, peaceful. You, generous. You, steady amidst change. And feel it, not just think it. Feel the warmth in your chest. Feel the ease in your breath. Feel the trust in your steps. When you open your eyes, carry that image with you like a quiet compass. It doesn't have to be loud. It only has to be real. Change the inner picture, and the outer life follows. All our habits, choices, and interactions flow from the image we carry of ourselves. If we carry shame, we speak with hesitation. If we carry fear, we act with defense. But when we carry peace, we speak with presence. When we carry love, we act with courage. Visualization shifts the story you tell yourself, from, "I'm not there yet," to, "I am already walking the path." And once that shift happens internally, everything begins to change externally. You start to walk differently. Respond differently. And life meets you in a new way. You don't have to wait for life to change before you do. So many of us wait. Wait for the right timing. Wait until we're ready. Wait until we feel different inside. But in truth, readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. You can decide today to stop waiting. The best version of yourself is not a goal in the distance. It's a presence already within you, asking to be lived. All it needs is attention, care, and belief. This is not pretending, this is a sacred practice. Visualization is not a game of make-believe. It's a spiritual act. A quiet devotion to the life you know you're meant to live. A life where peace is possible, not someday, but now. Where kindness is natural, not conditional. Where strength is quiet, not forceful. Each time you sit and imagine yourself in this way, you are training your heart to remember its deepest truth. And little by little, that truth becomes the way you move through the world. You are becoming who you already are. Transformation doesn't come from striving. It comes from remembering. From seeing clearly what's already true within you, and choosing to live from that space. Each moment you visualize yourself as calm, kind, and grounded, you are watering the seeds of that reality. And with time, those seeds become your way of being. You don't need to prove yourself to the world. You don't need to chase after worthiness. You are already enough. Now is the time to live that truth. 7. Loving yourself is a spiritual practice. We often believe that compassion is something we offer to others, those who suffer, those in need. But in Buddhist teaching, true compassion begins within. And sometimes, the person most in need of your love and understanding is yourself. In life, we all stumble. There are mistakes we regret, moments of weakness we wish we could erase. It's easy to fall into a cycle of self-blame, self-judgment, and internal criticism. But the truth is, you don't need to be perfect to be worthy of love. Real compassion isn't earned by perfection. It flows from understanding. You've tried. You've done your best with what you knew and had at the time. And sometimes, your choices weren't because you were broken, but because you were hurting or lost. You are not alone in that. You are human. Speak to yourself with gentleness. Take a moment to observe how you speak to yourself when you make a mistake. Do you say, "I'm so stupid," or "I mess everything up"? Those thoughts may seem harmless, but over time, they build a self-image that says, "I'm not enough." And when we believe that story, we begin to live by it. In Buddhism, right speech isn't just about the words we say to others, it also includes how we speak to ourselves. So begin to shift the language in your mind. Instead of saying, "I failed," say, "This was a lesson." Instead of saying, "I'm a mess," say, "I'm still learning." These small shifts can create profound healing. They open space for forgiveness and renewal. Forgiveness as liberation. So many of us carry the weight of old stories, times we hurt others, times we abandoned ourselves. But holding on to guilt does not heal us. It just keeps the wound open. Forgiveness in Buddhist practice is not a passive act, it is an act of liberation. It means recognizing the past, learning from it, and then choosing not to let it define us. You don't have to wait until you are healed to begin again. The moment you choose compassion over punishment, you begin the journey home to yourself. Kindness is not weakness. There's a fear that if we're too kind to ourselves, we'll become lazy or avoid responsibility. But kindness is not indulgence. It's strength. Imagine a child who has just fallen. Do you scold them, or do you gently help them up? Why not offer yourself the same care? Harshness may create pressure, but it doesn't create growth. Growth blossoms in environments of safety, honesty, and love. The more you practice gentle self-regard, the more resilient you become, because you know you can trust yourself to hold you through the ups and downs. Metta. Loving kindness meditation toward yourself. One powerful practice in Buddhism is metta bhavana, cultivating loving kindness. This practice begins by sending goodwill and warmth inward, toward yourself. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and repeat these phrases in your mind. May I be safe. May I be well. May I be peaceful. May I live with ease. At first, the words may feel awkward or unfamiliar. But they are seeds. With time, those seeds take root, replacing inner harshness with tenderness, transforming the way you relate to yourself. Accepting imperfection sets you free. The Buddha taught that clinging to a fixed identity, ego, is a major cause of suffering. We think we have to become someone better in order to be whole. But what if you could accept who you are right now, even with the cracks and questions? Self-acceptance doesn't mean giving up on growth. It means growing from a place of honesty, not shame. You don't need approval to be enough. You don't need achievements to be lovable. You are already whole, because you are real. And when you begin to embrace that truth, everything else becomes lighter. When you love yourself, love flows naturally to others. The more you nourish your inner world with compassion, the less you seek it from outside. You stop needing others to constantly affirm your worth. You become less reactive, less afraid of judgment, and more grounded in who you are. You become your own safe space. And from that space, love begins to flow, not from a place of need or emptiness, but from quiet fullness. When you truly love yourself, your capacity to love others deepens. You no longer offer love as a transaction, but as a gift. Your presence becomes healing. Every moment is an invitation to begin again. You don't have to wait until tomorrow. You don't have to be flawless. Right here. Right now, as you read these words, you can take a deep breath and say, I begin again. I am enough. I am worthy of kindness. And you begin to walk, slowly, gently, not from the weight of the past, but from the light of intention, from the stillness of presence, from the compassion that lives within you. You are not broken. You are becoming. And that is more than enough. The mind, a still lake that reflects your life. The human mind is like a still lake. If left unattended, if forgotten in the midst of constant noise, distraction, and busyness, the dust of the world will slowly settle at the bottom. We no longer see ourselves clearly. We lose touch with the peace that is already within us. But a lake that is cared for daily, through quiet, through understanding, through gentle mindfulness, becomes clear once more. It not only reflects the world outside but also the light within. The mind is no different. It does not demand anything extraordinary from you. It only asks for your presence. That you feed it with kindness. That you stop, every once in a while, to return and simply listen. Every choice you make is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Life is not shaped by grand moments alone. It is shaped, in truth, by the smallest decisions you make each day. Choosing understanding over judgment. Pausing for a breath instead of reacting in haste. Offering forgiveness instead of holding on. Turning inward instead of endlessly reaching outward. Each choice, no matter how small, becomes part of the picture you are painting with your life. You can choose to let go rather than hold tight. You can choose to see with understanding rather than through the lens of old pain. You can choose to speak kindly to yourself instead of falling into harsh self-criticism. And slowly, you begin to realize, everything you need to heal, to grow, and to walk a spiritual path, already lives within you. The journey of awakening begins with inner care. Many people spend their lives trying to change the world around them, jobs, relationships, circumstances, and yet forget the most important space of all, the mind. Without inner peace, no place outside can truly offer refuge. The Dharma journey is not a race to become better. It is a soft and sincere return, a gentle path of homecoming, to become the most authentic, undisturbed version of yourself. where you are no longer led by fear, but by clarity. No longer needing control, but trusting deeply that there is a natural order already at work. Guard your mind like a beloved friend. You don't have to stop the wind. But you can learn to observe how the lake moves in the breeze. You don't have to force the mind to be empty. But you can learn not to be swept away by every passing thought. You don't need to pretend to be strong. But you can learn to meet your own vulnerability with kindness. We are not meant to become someone else. We are simply meant to return, again and again, to the space within us that has always known peace, compassion, and clarity. A calm mind brings a calm world. A well-tended mind no longer depends on outer conditions to find peace. It is peaceful because it remembers its nature. It knows who it is, where it stands, and what it chooses to plant in the soil of each moment. When you plant mindfulness, you grow awareness. When you plant gratitude, you grow joy. When you plant forgiveness, you grow freedom. Don't wait until everything is perfect to begin caring for your inner world. Begin now. Begin with a single breath. A single intention. A single reminder that you are worthy of peace. Closing thoughts, tending to the still lake within. Your mind doesn't have to be crystal clear all the time. There will be days of storm and fog. There will be moments of exhaustion. But if you remember to return, to pause, to place a gentle hand on your own heart, the lake will settle once again. And when the water becomes still, you will see, the light never left. It was simply hidden beneath the dust of worry, fear, and forgetfulness. If these words have touched something in you, consider subscribing to the Dharma journey. Let's nourish peace together. One mindful step at a time. Each video, each reflection on this journey is an invitation to return. Not to become someone, but to be here. Not to fix yourself, but to understand yourself. We walk together, slowly and gently, along the path of awakening. And that act of returning, that simple presence, is already the greatest gift you can offer your life.